In my last video, we got the Platinum Trophy for Ghost of Tsushima, so today we'll be going for the 100% Platinum for Sucker Punch Studios' brand new Ghost of Yoeti. Before we get into this video, I wanted to say a big thank you to all of the people who liked and commented on my last video. As you can probably tell, I'm quite new to content creation, so your comments really do mean a lot and are very motivating. With the Ghost of Yoeti being released on the 2nd of October, there's no option for any help from a PSN profile guide. This shouldn't be stressful at all. So with that out of the way, let's jump straight into the video. The story begins during a flashback. Here we are introduced to a younger version of our main character, Atsu. Clearly in distress, we find that her family and her home have been wiped out. We have no choice but to watch as a bloodied man approaches us and pins us to a tree with his sword, as he and the other 5 men leave together. Fast forwarding 16 years to the present day, Atsu sits by a fire and swears vengeance on the gang known as the Yotei 6, a group that has taken over Ezo. Here we are able to create our hit list.
The snake, the oni, the kitsune, the spider, the dragon,
and finally,
Lord Saito.
Overlooking a nearby village, Atsu heads into town. We find some outlaws tormenting our horse, so we'll have to put a stop to that. The combat in this game is slightly different to Ghost of Tsushima. Instead of performing a perfect parry every time, in the early game you're best off blocking until your enemy tires before cutting them down. Oh, and you can also throw weapons, which is pretty cool. Anyways, after dealing with the outlaws, we head to the house to see whether the snake is home, which he is, so we give him a housewarming present. Drunk, he stumbles out of the building and starts a 1v1 with us. Even intoxicated, the snake puts up a good fight. He actually headbutts us so hard that it triggers a flashback. But after recovering, we whittle down his health bar, but he does pull out this disarming move out of nowhere. The snake drives a sword through Atsu, but she is able to get a few good stabs into his side before he is gone for good. This is also where we are able to pick up our first trophy of the game, the snake. I was a bit skeptical going into this game because Ghost of Tsushima was so great and so stunning. I did half think that Sucker Punch games would not be able to top it, but by God did they. After arriving home, we are forced into a flashback and introduced to a few of the game's mechanics. Firstly, we learn how to play the shamisen, which was fun. Learn how to forge a sword and master the fight mechanics while training with our twin brother Jubei. Now we must search the region for clues on the whereabouts of the Yotei 6. We begin our search in the Yotei Shadows Inn, which doesn't end too well. After that embarrassment, to make us feel better, the next day we are able to grab a couple of easy misc trophies. We earn Memento for customising a shot in photo mode, and after starting a campfire all by ourselves, we are able to once again play our shamisen and earn Fireside Performance. Our next task is to head to Mount Yotei. We had heard stories from some local villagers of a master that may be able to teach us a thing or two. On our way to the mountain, however, we do end up getting a little distracted.
You will never get this, you will never get this.
Now with the vision of Atsu's cake burned into my retina, we scale Mount Yotei to continue our search for the Master Swordsmith. We do eventually find Master Hanbei's little mountain getaway, but he finds us before we can find him. He does threaten us at first, but after we tell him that we're his old friend's daughter, he agrees to train us in learning his technique of wielding a dual katana. Our first day up in the mountains is spent trying to master his methods. Trying to, anyway.
This is going to take a while.
Eventually, the game throws us a bone and we're able to complete the task and learn the dual katana technique. Then it's on to chopping hot coals, which is a lot easier than the bamboo strike. It doesn't take us long to find an opportunity to test our new moves, because a gang of outlaws has discovered Hanbei's holiday home. This technique is especially powerful against spearmen, so this will definitely come in handy. After dispatching the outlaws and making our way back down the mountain, in between interrogating outlaw leaders for information on where we can find the Yotei 6, we spend some time completing a few activities around the map. While helping a wolf free its friends from the Saito outlaws, we successfully complete a standoff with her, earning 2 as 1, as well as heading to Mount Yotei's peak and acquiring Atsu's parents' charms to earn inheritance. I do also get heavily distracted trying to impress a group of travellers by playing an arrow shooting game. I didn't realise at the time, but you do actually get rewarded with the A Moment to Breathe trophy for getting a perfect score. After this, we jump back into the story. We must head to Ishikari Plain via the Golden Foothills in order to find the Oni, the man who tried to burn Atsu alive all those years ago. Reaching a Matsumaya checkpoint, we are unable to proceed without a travel permit. We do, however, find a homeless guy and his dog who are willing to help. He gives us one in exchange for 10 denarii. As we pass through the gate, we are stopped by Lord Kitamori, a high-ranking officer for Clan Matsumai. He hands us back our travel permit in a flirty way.
To arrest you.
Before he can ask for our number though, we are jumped by Oni raiders and have to take them out. After successfully defending the checkpoint from the Oni raiders, we are forced to travel with Kitamori under threat of arrest for a dodgy permit. Our task here is to look for a group of missing samurai, and we eventually come across a site where some Matsumai horses have been unalived and follow some footprints to an opening where the Oni raiders are burning the samurai.
Oh my god.
While the Lord is burying his comrades, we make camp and take some time to cook a salmon before his return. During a chat, Kitamori recognises our sword, and in a mental plot twist, it actually turns out that the whole time we've been speaking to Jubei, our twin brother. After reminiscing and catching up with Broski, we earn the Twin Wolves trophy. This is actually more useful to us than it had seemed. Because Jubei is high up in the army, he agrees to vouch for us, so we should be able to move around the map more freely than previously. We eventually reach an outpost that is engulfed in flames, but we are ambushed before we can investigate any further. An Oni raider demands a 1v1, so it's time to fight. He is actually a bit of a pain in the ass because he has 2 sickles that he's somehow able to light on fire, which definitely caught me off guard. Eventually, however, we do manage to best him by picking up one of his own weapons and throwing it at him, which also earns us the You Drop This trophy. Now that the path is clear, we head through to a Matsumai encampment. We steal a man's hat, thanks to a bamboo strike bet, and we meet the commanding officer of the camp. Unfortunately, he recognises us from the wanted posters and wants absolutely nothing to do with us.
Don't even care.
Before we can head to the Oni's castle to tick a second name off our list, we have some more trophies to collect. Heading back to the Yotei grasslands, we give our horse a name to earn the Naming a Friend trophy, but we also meet a bomb maker. She gives us some fire bombs and we're able to earn brush fire for burning an enemy with grass. The last thing that we can do here is meet the Yari Master. He is very skilled with the spear, so we are here to learn from him. Just like Master Hanbei on Yotei Mountain, we have another training montage to complete. Turns out, to become a Yari Master, all you need to do is best the sensei in a duel, paint a picture, decimate the marine population of Howling Cove, and learn how to kick properly. Not too long after, we are once again jumped by the Oni Raiders. It isn't all bad though, because we are able to lure one of the enemies to the top of a cliff and typhoon kick him to his death, which earns the Sayonara trophy. With that, we are also granted the teachings of Sensei Takashi. With our new weapon in hand, as per Jubei's advice, we head to Ishikari Market. It is here that we find a bounty poster for a Mad Goro, a man who has stolen a prized musket from the Oni. This could be our way of getting close to our target, so after eavesdropping on a patron's conversation, we head to Iwami village to pick up Mad Goro's trail. We speak to a villager who points us towards Bear Rock. All the signs point towards Mad Goro being here, but then some fellow bounty hunters arrive, and they're less than helpful. Apart from one who tells us to ride towards the river. It is at this river that we find some Oni raider bodies that had been shot by a musket, Mad Goro's weapon of choice, which had then drifted downstream. And further upstream, we find a raider camp. While examining the dead, we see a trail of smoke, and then...
Surprise, motherfucker!
While Jubei distracts Mad Goro, we sneak up on him, which triggers a chase to a cul-de-sac, where we are once again able to sneak up on him and fight him this time. Instead of killing him and collecting his bounty, we take him as a prisoner so that we can get close to the Oni. Unfortunately, Broski decides that Mad Goro is worth questioning him because the Oni has apparently taken prisoners in his castle, so we will have to wait. With some spare time, we head back to the Yotei grasslands, to an inn that we helped liberate earlier in the story, and we do some degenerate gambling with the innkeep. After beating him and winning his rent money, he gives us a charm, which earns us the Good with Coins trophy. We also run along a river until a fish presents itself, spearing the fish with our new weapon, which earns us the spearfishing trophy. Finally, for helping a wolf avenge its friend again, we are able to pick up wolf bait, which is earned for using an empty sake jar to trigger a wolf kill. Before getting back to the story, we find a disciple of Takezo. A fight ensues under the watch of a strange looking tree, and after taking him out, we are introduced to Yugetsu. He tells us of the tale of Takezo the Unrivaled. To learn his technique, we must defeat him, but in order to do that, we must firstly defeat all of his disciples throughout Ezo. We find Jubei on the outskirts of the Ishikari market and discover that he has in fact not returned with Mad Goro like he promised. So instead, we're going to use him as bait. In disguise, we head to the Ishikari castle. We come face to face with the Oni and turn Jubei over to him. Walking through the castle, we are able to see that it's been turned into a prison camp. The plan is to free Jubei when the sun goes down and to kill the Oni together. Still in disguise, we travel inside the Oni's war room. We flash back to see that he was the one who actually murdered our father, but he allows us to keep our father's memento and pays us for our troubles and even invites us to stay for dinner.
What an idiot!
Before the feast can begin, we need to get the keys to the jailhouse. To do that, we will need to lift them off this big brute. After an embarrassing attempt of lifting them,
Mission failed.
we offer him out for a fight, and after defeating him, we are able to steal the keys from him. As the night draws in, we are able to retrieve our weapons from our horse and sneak back into the castle. We find our brother tied up inside the jailhouse and cut him loose. There are way too many outlaws to fight head on, so we decide to sneak around the side of the castle. Thankfully though, The builders have created a path that leads directly to the Oni's bedroom. Once inside, something feels off about this situation.
Well, shit.
Out of nowhere, the Oni grabs us and throws us out of a window. The Oni's guard swarm us and we narrowly escape on horseback. In a clearing, Jubei pulls out of the plan as that attempt was way too close for comfort. So we're back to being alone. Luckily, one of the guards had mentioned that Mad Goro had escaped via a secret passage out of the castle, which is still yet to be found. So that's how we're going to get a rematch with the Oni. Mad Goro is being kept in the Matsumaya encampment. So on the way back there, we had some time to do some side questing. The Spear Sensei wants us to help him ready his army to fight the raiders. To do that, they're going to need some weapons. While liberating the Bold Kaji Forge, we are able to pick up the Horror Trophy for making 20 enemies collapse in fear while using the Onryo's Howl. Then we meet him at his dojo. He shows us a power move, but before we can master the move, raiders attack and we are forced to fight back. After successfully defending the dojo from invasion, we are rewarded with the Way of the Yari trophy. There's also a quest for collecting 4 wind chimes to summon an undying samurai. So after searching the map for all of the chimes, we place them in a cave to the north and summon the warrior. This fight is actually pretty tough. As his name suggests, he does in fact not die. Eventually though, as we are still banned from the encampment, I guess that we'll just have to find our own way in. Under the cover of darkness, we enter the camp and find Mad Goro. He agrees to show us the secret entrance to the Oni castle as long as we break him out of prison. We break into his cell via the roof and rip open some loose planks, but unfortunately run into none other than Jubei. He is not so pleased to see us again, and he escorts us through the camp to kick us out. In typical raider fashion, however, they attack the camp, this time with their fire weapons. Just as we're beginning to get a hold of this fight, they begin to shoot the bridge that is supposed to be used to bring samurai reinforcements. We have a pretty good view at the burning bridge, but then we see our brother making his final stand. To save him, we sprint to the bridge, and once we reach him, we go absolutely sicko mode now that I've learned how to properly throw weapons. A performance like that clearly deserves an audience, which we do receive.
Did you think there wouldn't be consequences?
The Oni shows up and we reveal our true identity, but the Oni laughs it off and blows up the bridge, sending us down into the river below. Once we are safely ashore, Jubei re-agrees to help us take down the Oni. Now we must head out in search of Mad Goro. He has escaped the prison and we find him atop of a mountain pretending to be a priest. We do his little song and dance and he tells us how to sneak into the Oni's castle. On the west coast of the castle we find Jubei. In a rowboat we head towards the castle and sail through Goro's secret entrance and through an old mine. We find the Matsumaya prisoners being worked to death and perform a Black Ops 1 style prison break. We reach the Oni's war room for the second time and find our target, and it's time for a showdown. It's actually a pretty tough fight, but it doesn't take us too long to get his health bar low enough to trigger a cutscene. He puts us in a tight chokehold, but we rip off his mask to expose his ugly face, which causes him to throw us out of a window. Stage 2 of this fight moves outside, and the Oni now has fire weapons, which are annoying as shit. He did diff me a little bit at the start, but after enough self-healing, dodging and parrying, we managed to bring him to his knees. We demand that he crawls to the main keep, which actually earns us the very persuasive trophy for interrogating 10 enemies. Then we find Jubei and the remaining slave army. In a joint effort, we make sure that the Oni's head is no longer attached to his neck, and with that, our second target can be crossed off our list, and we are free to escape with the prisoners, earning the Oni trophy. That honestly felt like it took forever, but with most of the side missions and activities done in the 2 areas that we've been to so far, we can swiftly move on to our next target, the Kitsune. For that, we will need to follow the Napu River towards Teshio Ridge. We find a traveller named Huchi. We then help her with a couple of quests, and after befriending an orphaned bear cub, we sit down for a meal with her and earn the trophy Siturainu. Heading further north, we arrive at Teshio Ridge. As we ride through a snowstorm, we are ambushed by a group of outlaws. We defeat the goons, but out of a nearby bush, the Kitsune appears and poisons us with a throwing knife. We awake after passing out and have to traverse through the storm until we find a cave that we can rest in. As morning breaks, we scout Teshio Ridge. Our next location to visit will be the Red Crane Inn, but while riding there we run into a farmer named Hannah. She needs some help getting rid of the outlaws from her 4 farmsteads. On the map, they aren't the closest to us right now, but there is a trophy connected to this side mission, so we'll have to do it. Heading to the inn, we outclass a samurai at gambling. Get fucked, you fucking goon. and then he says his commander is upstairs who has information about the kitsune. Heading up, we find the commander in his underwear for some reason. It turns out disturbing a man when he's in his undies waiting for a woman of the night is not the best idea, and he's not so friendly to us. So with that, we head back downstairs. Outside, we meet a woman named Oyuki. She seems to know a lot about the kitsune and his nine tails, so we head into the forest and wait at the shrine for the nine tails to arrive. Once they do, we follow them. After killing them all, one of the nine tails has a map in his shoe which could lead us to a potential outpost. At the location, we have to solve a puzzle, fight some nine tails, and solve another puzzle before finding a dojo. Once inside though, all of the doors slam shut, sealing us in. A voice can be heard from the walls of the dojo as nine tails pour out of the walls. Now, since climbing Mount Yotei to earn the inheritance trophy, we had been collecting other charms throughout the story. Some of these charms have little challenges that you have to complete to improve them. It just so happened that during this fight with the nine tails that I managed to stagger enough pole armor enemies to level up the charm of furious attacks, thus earning the charming trophy. Although we do create a cipher to translate the nine tails' symbols, we find that the kitsune is not here. So with that, we head back to the inn to speak to Oyuki. With her help, we are able to sneak into the Matsumai commander's room and find out the name of the person who has been helping them. With this information, we are now off to Nakajima Sake House to pose as a musician to get closer to the snitch, Chosuke. We find him upstairs in a bar, slip him a Mickey, and then extort him for information before he shits himself. His information leads us to a black dye house. After solving a puzzle, we are able to enter the underground tunnels to find the dye master locked in a cage. Deep in the tunnels, we're searching for any other prisoners before we're rudely interrupted by a man who thinks he's him.
Let's see if my common blade can hurt you.
After that, we head into a room and find a puzzle box. Puzzled herself, Atsu heads back to the surface to show it to Oyuki. While travelling to the poison harvest site mentioned in the puzzle box, we see that the Matsumai have taken control. We walk into the camp and Oyuki distracts the guard as we sneak in. We solve a few fox-based puzzles and eventually come to a clearing where we see the harvesting operation and the main man, the kitsune. Of course, the Matsumai ruin our plan of sneaking in, but we do manage to make it to the dojo where the kitsune is. For some reason, he doesn't remember us like the rest of the Yotei 6, and during the fight, he makes some pretty suspicious comments.
Did you think I was the first kitsune? Anyone can wear a mask.
Well, that's true in a way.
Before he can finish us, Oyuki hits him with a throwing axe. Oh, so she can fight now. As we hop in and out of consciousness, we are reminded that the kitsune's voice is clearly a woman and not a man's. It all begins to make sense, and we deduce that Oyuki is actually the kitsune. Pissed off that we've been lied to, we head to the old graveyard to tick a third name off of our list. We find Oyuki waiting there and the two fight, but eventually she tells us to take our revenge if we really want it. Keeping her alive, however, may give us the advantage that we need to kill Lord Saito. With that taken into consideration, I guess the kitsune is redeemed. We allow her to join the fight with us, and after creating a song together, we earn the Woman Behind the Mask trophy. Now once again, it's time for a little bit of side questing. We firstly liberate the last of Hana's farms to earn Kunai Defender. We meet Master Enomoto to learn the way of the
Kusarigama
from him and then help him in his quest to confront his grandson for turning to Lord Saito. While doing this though, we are able to earn the Owl's Talon trophy for using the
Kusarigama
during the assassination. For finishing off the man's grandson, we earn the way of the
Kusarigama.
Now that the Teshio region was completed, we could refocus our efforts on finding the Saito brothers. We firstly head to Tokachi Range to seek the help of Master Yoshida. He can be found at his dojo, and he agrees to teach us his methods on the way of the Odachi, a sword as long as a man. After finishing the training, Yoshida tells us that the brothers went north to trade with the Russians, and after that, the Tools of the Warrior trophy unlocks for acquiring 5 melee weapons. To make the post-game cleanup a little easier, while we are in Tokachi Range, we complete some of the activities around the map. It can be dangerous though.
Too bad. Oh no. Oh, money shot. Double money shot. 3 times in the ass. Okay.
Well, that gave me flashbacks.
Oh, there's a bear there!
It does have some funny moments though.
Frick.
You get through me, and I am the best blade in all of Ezo.
We do manage to also locate the final of Takezo's disciples beneath a dueling tree, and after putting him down, we are able to find Takezo the Unrivaled atop Mount Yotei. Now, you are about to see the final showdown between Atsu and Takezo. Throughout the playthrough, I had been playing on medium difficulty. Takezo, however, had clearly been playing on lethal because he absolutely teabagged me. At first, I blamed the gear that I had. To start the fight in the first place, you must equip the 5 charms that are dropped by the disciples, which means swapping out your usual 5 charms, and throughout the story I had gotten used to how they worked. The same could be said for the armour. The Bounty Master armour that I'd been using disables regular parries but increases the window for a perfect parry or dodge. I had run into a similar problem before in Teshio Ridge, where I was forced to swap into the Onryo armour because it allows for normal parries but just doesn't have the increased parry window. Doing this against Takezo, however, did not help. He embarrassed me over and over and over again. Fucking hell! He slaughtered me for 32 minutes straight, taking me out multiple times without me even putting a dent in him. And that's not even counting the times that I revived myself using Spirit. Then I remembered something. Takezo is a character in a game and I am not. So with that, I went to the menus. I'm not even sorry, I have shit to do. After a much more manageable fight, we put him out of his misery. Yeah, fucking have that. And earned the unrivaled trophy. Back on the road, we head to Master Yoshida to help him defend his dojo from the outlaw invasion. After successfully doing this, we earn the Way of the Adachi trophy. With the Saito bros out of town, we head to Lord Saito's training fortress. Finding a crack in the gate, we hop through and Assassin's Creed our way up the rock face. Thankfully, once again, the builders have come in with a huge assist and they've also made a path straight to Lord Saito's bedroom.
Ooh, how convenient!
We see an opportunity to assassinate Lord Saito and rid these lands of him for good, but his spidey senses must have been tingling because he dodges the shit out of our assassination attempts. Recognising us, he invites us for a guided tour of the keep, which leads straight to a dueling ring. If he's anything like Takezo, this won't be much fun. Spoilers, he's not. We actually mess him up until the Matsumai ruin our flow and bomb the place, and we end up getting hit with a projectile and passing out.
Of course.
Back home, we meet up with Yuyuki and Jubei. She has news that the Saito army plans to attack Oshima Castle, the home of the Matsumai. Meeting back up with them too at a burnt down town, courtesy of the Saito brothers. Together, we ride with the rest of the cavalry towards the battle between the Matsumai and the Saito army. We charge straight into the Saito forces and take them out before proceeding towards the beach. We do have other priorities though.
Fuck them.
Under the cover of night, we sneak through the battlefield and make our way to a vantage point where we can see the Saito army interrogating local farmers. Jubei decides to create a distraction while we provide covering fire using a musket left behind from the battle. Shooting an explosive barrel, this is enough of a distraction for the group to attack, and also gives Jubei enough time to reunite with his daughter. Finding the brothers is now our top priority, but Yuki tells us of a man named Matchlock Murata, who will apparently make us a pistol. But first, we head home to tend to some important business. As seen in the tutorial of the game, you can upgrade your weapons at Atsu's father's forge. With the newly acquired gun parts from the Battle of Oshima Coast, we're able to get our 5th and final upgrade, thus unlocking Like Father, Like Daughter.
It will kill.
Back in Oshima Coast, we find Murata in his house, but he's been shot. We tend to his wounds and strike a deal. We are going to find and take care of the customer who shot Murata in exchange for the guy's pistol. We find Inosuke at a farmstead where he has been terrorising a local family. After killing his goons, we throw a sword at him and take his pistol, which pops the quick draw trophy, which is earned for acquiring all quickfire weapons in the game. Now we must head to Benton Port to link up with Jubei about an urgent matter. We learn that the dragon, one of Saito's sons, has been spotted at a lighthouse not too far from here. Scouting the area, we confirm that the dragon is here and is just about to unalive a whole lot of samurai. So, Jubei orders his men to blow the gates and we rush in to free the prisoners. The second part is a little bit tricky. The outlaws have developed this annoying new tactic of pointing muskets at you from behind a shield. Anyway, we make it to the lighthouse, but the dragon escapes.
Again?
Our next step is to target the other brother, who may not be expecting an attack. In the meantime though, we can explore a little bit more of the Oshima coast. While engaged in a standoff, we earn from the hip for using our new pistol. We also earn purely decorative for collecting 30 pieces of gear, as well as taking aim for collecting all 4 ranged weapons in the game. There are also a total of 31 bounties to collect throughout the map, and I had been making sure to complete them when they popped up. Now that the Oshima coast was unlocked, we were able to collect the last 5 bounties. So after taking all of their heads and turning them into the broker, we unlocked the Master Bounty Hunter trophy. We also managed to liberate the remaining Saito camps around the map to earn For the Living. And the final thing that we must do before jumping back into the story is look for the infamous Stormblade. From the beginning, we see the signs of who this blade may have belonged to. We eventually find the blade, and the music confirms that it belonged to Jin Sakai from the Ghost of Tsushima. This game is actually set 300 years after the event of the previous game, so unless Jin is immortal, which is possible, there's no chance that we'll see him here. As soon as we pick up the blade, we are ambushed by the Ninetales and they take the blade from us and a chase ensues. We eventually arrive at an opening where there is a lone house. Inside, there are callbacks to the previous game, which is pretty cool to be fair. At a dueling ring, we find the sword thief and fight him for Jin's katana. It's not a particularly difficult fight, but we do cheat a little bit to finish off the thief. With that, the from one goes to another trophy is earned. To finish off the remaining collectible trophies, we firstly must assist all the wolves to earn Wolves of Ezo, become Atsu Van Gogh to earn an Artist's Eye, solve all Ninetales puzzle boxes to earn Trickster Fox, Like Mother Like Daughter, which is for shredding all guitars in the game, and for completing all bamboo strikes, hot springs and shrine climbs, we unlock body, mind and spirit. With all of the collectibles out of the way, we can finally return to the story. Jubei and Oyuki are planning on how to take out the Saito brothers. The new plan is to capture the spider alive in order to get his elusive brother, the dragon. We sneak into the camp, disguising ourselves as performers, and head to the stage. The selected performance is a personal one to us, to say the least. Atsu decides to create a new ending to that story and uses Jin Sakai's new technique to absolutely obliterate the spider's forces. He doesn't stand much of a chance either, and we take him as prisoner as we earn the Wrath of the Onryo trophy. With our prisoners set as bait and the trap set, we wait for the dragon to arrive. It seems to be a pretty good plan, that is, until the boats begin to approach, and then it is obvious that the Matsumae clan should have known not to shit where you eat. The Saito dogs do the old wraparound and attack the unmanned castle. Before we can go help, the dragon and Lord Saito show up and free the spider. We fight the dragon while the spider takes pot shots at us. It's not that difficult of a fight, especially when you pick up the Ginji guard armor, which lets you deflect bullets with your sword. Eventually, we get the better of the dragon and take him out in front of his brother. The spider does get away, but that is one more target off our list, and it also earns us the dragon trophy. Catching up with Jubei's daughter Kiku, we discover that her dad and Oyuki have both been taken prisoner by Saito. We take Kiku to our old house while we go and meet up with Master Hanbei, as apparently he used to be the best bounty hunter in Ezo. He gives us a pep talk and we are reminded of what the spider said on his way to his mock execution.
Burial grounds are near a shrine in Tokachi-ri.
We arrive at the clan Saito burial ground and await for the spider to turn up, which he does. Atsu tries to convince him to give up the location of the hostages, but like the little rat that he is, the spider runs away. Once again, as we try and chase him, he takes pot shots at us, but we eventually catch up to him and dump tackle him off of a cliff and straight into a 1v1. He is actually pretty annoying to fight, but eventually we get him low enough to trigger a cutscene. The man seems open to being unalived, but Atsu decides to do this.
Do it, do it, do it. Fuck him. Yes, well done. No.
Thankfully for Atsu, he does actually give up the location of Jubei and Oyuki and agrees to meet us at the central ferry to show us the way, which also earns the trophy, the spider. Before we complete what I believe to be the final mission of the game, we head to an altar at the Yotei Shadows Inn and collect the last of 8 gifts to the Onryo, which earns us the gift for the ghost trophy. We meet the spider at his boat and he takes us to Koga Fortress. Inside the fortress, Saito has both of our friends captured. He sends Jubei off to be executed, but has something special planned for his ex-employee. Spawning back in as Atsu, we scale the mountains and sneak through the fortress. Well, try to anyway. But eventually, we arrive at a watchtower. We are able to see the Saito army executing prisoners and see that Jubei is up next on the chopping block. This time, we are actually supposed to fight our way through the keep and eventually meet up with our brother. The guards looking after him get absolutely dunked on as we use Jin Sakai's ghost stance, but after speaking to Jubei, he doesn't really believe that the only reason we came is to rescue him and Oyuki.
Oh, you're probably right.
With Jubei now alongside us, we fight our way through the fortress to see what kind of surprise Oyuki is about to receive from Lord Saito. Unfortunately, we arrive early and ruin the surprise for the kitsune. Oyuki does give us some useful information though. Lord Saito has ridden back to our home to finish things off where it all began. As quickly as possible, we ride back home. We find Saito sat with Kiku playing coins and he offers us out for a 1v1. Underneath the ginkgo tree, the final battle of the game goes down. Saito is basically all of the hardest parts of the game rolled into one. He has the same cancerous move that the spider had, where he is able to disarm you so quickly you can't even react, the combat ability of Takezo the Unrivaled, and the weapon choice of every character in the game. Yeah, he kinda kicked my ass here. Eventually though, after some trial and error, we managed to get him low enough to convince him to only use his katana, which doesn't go too well either. Thankfully, before he can reset our progress, Jubei dives in WWE style and saves us from certain death. We 2v1 him for a while, before Saito gets a lucky hit on us and unfortunately kills Jubei, leaving it back as a 1v1. Round 2 of this fight actually goes a lot better, and after a shower of perfect parries, we get the Lord down as low as possible. With that, Atsu pins Sato to the tree in poetic fashion. As the credit rolls in, we get a double trophy pop of the Onryo rests and the platinum trophy, legendary Onryo. So the question on all of your minds, is Ghost of Yoeti better than Ghost of Tsushima? Maybe it's controversial, but I would have to say yes. The graphics, the music and the story, I was so locked into this game. At some points, I thought myself Japanese. A massive thank you to Sucker Punch Studios for making this journey, and a massive thank you once again for all the support that I received on my last Ghost game. As always, if you have enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. It really does help more than you'll ever know. If there's any games that you would like to see me platinum, or just any hard trophies in general, please drop your suggestions down below.